We're going to be heading into Eternal Empire for game number 1. I'm not sure what kind of form Deer is in at the moment, but you know what? He's in this top 16 bracket, and that tells me it's probably pretty darn good. So let's hop into the game where we have spawning in the upper right-hand corner. In the yellow for Team LP, it is Impact. And his opponent in the lower left-hand corner, our blue Protoss, it is Deer. Yeah, like I said, I haven't gotten to see too much of Deer. I don't know what his current playstyle is, how he's favoring the matchups, which makes me just extra excited because Deer's always been one of those guys that at any point it feels like he could do great things. At any point he could just like step it up and nobody be expecting it, and he'll just knock it out of the park. And he's up against Impact, who is a very good Zerg player, but he's not the best Zerg player. And so I feel like this is actually has the potential to be a very close game, or a close series, I should say. But I think a lot of it rests on how Deer is playing and how he's feeling. Impact is the kind of guy, I feel like he goes with his namesake a little bit, because he, oftentimes I will see him just make a lot of unit. Just a unit. He'll make a lot of it. Like roaches. He'll just make a lot of roaches. And just attack. And a lot of times against a player who's maybe not ready for it, he can just crush through them. I'm assuming Deer knows that though. They play on the same ladder. They probably have practiced together a number of times. I'm expecting something out of Deer to counteract that. We've got a Stargate starting up. The good old standard Stargate, the Adept moving across the map. Ooh, gonna intercept these Lings. The probe at the watchtower saw the Lings coming. So that's a really nice catch from Deer. And he gets both of them before those Lings get into the main base. However, the Sloverlord will see the Stargate. Oh, does it see the first unit being built? It catches the tail end. You can tell that it's a Phoenix. Phoenix first. Is it going to be into Oracle? It's kind of what I expect here. Phoenix first, usually just to take down Overlords. I don't know. It's into another gateway. Okay, there's the Oracle. Couple of Adepts trying to be cheeky. Looks like they were able to get a couple of drones. And they'll get on out of there. Speed is about to finish, so they don't want to stick around too long. You're gonna go for a nice quick third base timing. Right at 4 minutes. Keeping that first Oracle at home to defend. Oh, looks like he wants to move out with 6 Adepts moving across the map. You're getting very aggressive with very few units. There's actually nothing to defend this third base right now. Fortunately for him, Impact is focused more on the defense. Alright, Adepts come into the back, but there are Queens there. Queens over here as well in the natural. Going for the recall will get most of those Adepts out of there. Looks like 5 of them survived. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe it was just 4. The Oracle not really getting anything done, but it also didn't turn on, so it still has full energy. Ling's trying to get a hold on those probes, but the sentries and adepts say, no thank you. This Phoenix taking the flight path of a hallucinated Phoenix, but it is actually the real one. But we'll see everything that Impact has, which is a lair, a roach warren, and a spawning pool. We do now have a spire going down. I'm quite sure that that Phoenix did not see that spire. That was planted down by Impact moments after that Phoenix walked by. Flew by. Ooh, but the Phoenix is not gone yet. Queens really want to make sure that he does not see the spire. So far, it's working. However, if Impact, or if Deer noticed that Impact took these gases at his third base, he may start wondering where all that gas is gonna be going. But not just yet. No concern here out of Deer. Not a lot that shoots up. He's not making any more Phoenix. He's not getting Stalkers out. He's not getting Archons just yet. He should build a few Archons in the near future here. But still has not seen... Oh, has he seen it now? No, these hallucinated Phoenix don't quite catch it right. Oh, big Ling Roach attack. Posturing over on the left side. This fourth base from Deer gonna have to be canceled. Oh, finally hallucinated Phoenix sees the spire, but just gonna get killed by Mutas. Muta's moving over into the natural. A few Stalkers and a cannon being warped in. Now we have the Phoenix being chronoed out. 4 drones did go down in the meantime. This Oracle decides to go on a suicide mission, but it buys Deer a lot of time. These Mutas would easily have been hitting by now, but now the shield battery's up, the cannon is up, there's 3 Stalkers here. There's 2 Phoenix instead of 1. A lot of things looking a little bit better here for Deer. Yeah, double cannon in the third base. And a cannon in the main. And as more Phoenix come out, it's going to be a lot harder for these Mutas to find a ton of damage. You do trade nicely with the Phoenix, though. Ideally, you don't want to lose any Phoenix to the Muta battle. Oh, I don't know where these overlords are going. They're going to drop creep. Ooh, some High Templar getting picked off. A couple of Mutas getting caught, though. Ooh, and they're going to walk right over these turrets. I think this is the end of the Mutas, but no more Mutas are coming out. That's all of them. But that's a load off of Deer's mind. Not having to worry about even 4 or 5 Mutas floating around to be annoying. It's a nice feeling, but now he's got to worry about this big Ling Roach Ravager. However, he does still have some Storm energy. Not a whole lot else in the splash departments. Archons and Storm. Ah, here are the Immortals. And the Phoenix, now that there's no more Mutas to take care of, they're just doing work. Trying to kill some of these very expensive Ravagers. Ravager costs as much as a Muta. So killing a Ravager is very nice here. Transfuse saves that one, though. Nicely done by Impact. Oh, here comes a big attack. Bane busting in. Beautiful force field. Blocks it with the Archon. Those Banes get absolutely nothing done. I don't think they killed a single unit. They didn't even get this gas geyser. Impact really wants to try to hit from this top side. Oh, this Warp Prism spots it. How frustrating must that be? This Warp Prism randomly out here spots it, and now Deer's moving out. Deer's got quite the army. He's getting pretty close to maxed. Does have some units back at home. Wow, this is a very defended base. And behind this, Deer, of course, going into carrier is getting that mothership coming out. If a base this well defended by cannons didn't get you to expect carriers, I don't know what would. We do have a Greater Spire on the way. I don't know if a Greater Spire is exactly going to be... I mean, obviously Broodlords are fantastic here. So Banelings come in to be annoying. Deer's army a little bit out on the map here. Impact might be able to go say something about that. Some storms going down, but Impact's just walking right through. We've got Banelings coming in from the backside. Archon soaks all those Baneling shots up. These force fields have been game changers here, but there's no more storm energy. And now the Banelings get through. Still a couple of Immortals left over, but the Lings will get right on top of them. Carrier is forced to come out to play. And that gives Impact his first view of the carriers. Corruptors trying to take out that Nexus. Carriers are too close. Now we've got 10 more Corruptors on the way. +1 flyer weapons. We may even see a second Spire to go down to get those double upgrades. This is looking like a big army here from Impact, and now that he's got his Corruptor fleet in the sky, he might come over for the attack. Do we have enough detection for the mothership? Got a couple Overseers. Ooh, storms going down on the Corruptors. If he can take out the Corruptors, the carriers will be able to finish off everything else, but the Corruptors are shooting down the carriers out of the sky. A couple of them have gone down already, but most of the Corruptors have died. They're not going to be able to finish the rest of this off. However, Deer now has 0 ground army. He's going to have to warp in some more Templar. Supplies are even at the moment, though. Three Zealots, 3 carriers, and a mothership. What else do you really need? Yeah, warping in some more Templar. Those storms and those Archons are so important in the fight between Corruptors and carriers. Impact at the moment a little bit low on money, maybe not able to make the amount of Corruptors he needs. And Deer gonna go ahead and grab yet another base. This one's a bit forward, it's a bit hard to hold, but he will get that extra gas if he is able to hold it. I don't know if this is gonna last too long though, since we have a bit of an attack here from Impact. Looks like he wants to come back in. Deer though is actually up in supply right now. Certainly some of that is in these building carriers. Impact doesn't actually even take the base out. But we got some Zealots for him to focus on. Some Banelings, it looks like, potentially came in here. Just losing a few workers on either side. They're actually even on workers at the moment. 78 to 78. Impact goes back up to 85. Vipers coming out. This is really what we needed to see from Impact. Some spellcasters. Lings catch a few transferring probes, but Mama's here to save them. Banelings being morphed, they're all going to be forced to be canceled. Oh, and these corruptors walk into the wrong neighborhood. They get stormed, they get carriered, and they get archoned. Banelings moving into this base with the cannons. Kill them all. There are still some Lings up to the top side. Oh, they did turn into Banelings, but that's not going to last too long. And that's a lot of money from Impact. He's very, very low on money at the moment. Deer's actually building up a bank. He's fully maxed. I don't know what Impact's going to do about it. Right now, he cannot fight this air army. It is much too big for him. He has a lot of Ravagers and Lings on the ground still. He's going to go in for a bit of a counterattack as Impact, or as Deer moves out. Ooh, and he's going to grab the mothership. Yoinking carriers, but there's not enough corruptors to really do a ton of damage. However, the army is now split. These ground units need to be here to support the carriers. This gets cleaned up back at Impact's base. And Impact's gonna have to tap out. GG, Deer takes game number 1. With carriers. With his Sky Toss army. Man. Only Deer, I'm telling you. Only Deer is going to be able to do that. So far, every time I've seen Sky Toss, either the transition comes after the game is pretty much over, or it doesn't work. That's kind of what it feels like. But not in that one. Deer says no. Deer says, actually, I'm just going to win with carriers. Just like a standard carrier transition. And yeah, I just think Impact's flying army, his corruptor army, was a little bit too small. Maybe trading a few of those out too much. But really nice play there from Deer. Able to get that army out. We'll see if that's his goal in game number 2 as well. We're going to be hopping into a Nightshade, where we have in the lower right hand corner, in the yellow, playing for Team LP, it is Impact. And his opponent in the upper left hand corner, a blue Protoss player. Playing for Team Newbie, it is Deer. Yeah, I've got to say, I think just in general, Deer's play against what Impact likes to do. He likes to make a lot of those tier 2 units and keep that pressure on. I don't know, it felt a little bit like Impact was afraid to attack a few times. And I think there were some opportunities there, so we'll see if he's able to take advantage of some of those in this game. We do, of course, have the standard hatch gas pool, gateway at the front. I don't really expect Deer to cannon rush or to do anything really cheeky. But as always, I would love to see it. Drone heading down for the third base. Won't let the probe block it. Well, probe just gonna come scout out what's going on. Make sure that the base is on time. And it is. Now probe gets to go home. We have the Adept being chrono boosted out. Gonna go into Stargate once again. Not too surprised to see that. Something else we could see from Deer, maybe a big 2-base timing, some sort of big glaive all in, something of that nature. It's definitely not out of his wheelhouse. And I think after the super late game, super long carrier, that was the last game, might behoove him to do something more aggressive. That being said, I don't know what Impact has planned. And occasionally, if your aggression walks into their aggression, that is not good. These units being pulled back. Oh, but a drone does go down. Adept shades out of there before it loses too many hit points. And the Overlord will once again come in and get first-hand experience on that. It's Stargate and Phoenix first. A couple more gateways coming up down here for Deer. Adept staying home, going to be staying in the wall. Lings will move across as speed finishes up for them. No lair just yet, just grabbing another queen. Getting those spore crawlers up for the defense against the oracles. No spore in the natural though. Just gonna keep 3 queens there instead. Impact tossing down that roach warren. And Deer taking his 3rd base. We'll see if he goes for the not defending it at all that he did in the last game. It looks like he might. And we've got 4 adepts moving out. They're going to see these lings. Oh, nice surround on 1 adept. We'll get the kill, but trade for a lot of hit points and a few zerglings. Oracle comes in, doesn't get any damage. Again, it looks like he didn't even turn it on. Queens will continue to shoo it away. Robo coming down. Alright, and it is going to be glaives. Look at that, called it. Not quite an all-in, but definitely going to be a nice big glaives attack. We have more and more adepts being warped in. Losing that 1 adept earlier is unfortunate, but running home with the other ones, keeping them alive, it's a good call. When these lings see a whole group of adepts going out, it's a pretty big tell of what is to come. There's a lot of roaches here. Deer completes the shade right into a ton of roaches. He's going to try to run away now, but he's losing lots of his power in this push. Oh, and lings pop out in perfect time to block these adepts. So many adepts going down. In the meantime, lings going down, or lings trading for some probes. All these adepts die, not a single drone went down. Just trading for some lings and a roach or 2. Now here we go, the final 2 adepts get 4 drones. I really would have loved if he was able to split off a few adepts either side, but I think when that shade was about to finish, he was distracted by the lings. I think if Deer had known there were this many roaches up here, he would not have finished that shade. So Deer's attack falling a little bit flat here. Impact absolutely ready for that with that roach count. It's just going to be a charge plus 1 follow-up with the Templar Archives coming up. A few more gateways. Oh, this poor probe. Well, he's very protected. A very protected probe. Oh, we have the Hydra Den up now. So Impact getting ready for that next phase of the game, the carrier phase. And going into the Hydra Den already. And we may very well see a Lurker Den pop down in the near future. as he takes his 4th base. 4th base is a little bit delayed considering he was making roaches for the defense of that attack. But he sees the hydras, and that's a big difference from last game. In fact, wants to make sure that 2 or 3 carriers can't just clean up his army this time. Oh, War Prism moving down. Put some pressure onto this 4th. Very few upgrades here from both players. Only 1 Evo chamber. Going to be getting +2 missile attacks. +1 just now finishing, but only a single forge. Deer going to take a 4th as well. Oh, this Roach Hydra drop is actually very close to the War Prism, but Deer, as of yet, has not scouted it. This Oracle may scout it. They're going to try to avoid the Oracle. Oh, man. This army is moving up here. Impact goes all the way out to the side. Will he be able to avoid the Oracle? There's a stasis ward here too. I love this. This is crazy. This is a crazy amount of defense that you don't normally see. Looks like a bit of a skirmish in the middle of the map. Impact's going for it. It has not been seen by Deer. Deer's army is out in the middle of the map. Ooh, and as Deer moves on creep, it's a good time for Impact to move in. 2 mortals are about to pop. That's going to help him a bit. And he's going to completely avoid the triple cannon stasis ward. Who even needs a Nidus? Deer finally sees it. He's going to bring some units back. In the meantime, ooh, a nice surround here. Some lurkers hitting from the top side. May have to use a recall. 8 workers going down. And not a lot that shoots up to kill these overlords. So they can kind of keep moving around. In the meantime, lurkers, roaches, and hydras hitting at the 4th base. Impact at 200 supply, just going to keep flooding units across the map. And Deer dropping in workers, dropping in army. Where is his army? This is it right here. He's got no detection, so the lurker getting a lot of free shots off. 4th base goes down. And still roaches and a hydra. 2 roaches and 1 hydra hitting in the main base. Some stalkers do get warped in. And all these overlords will get taken down by the single Phoenix, but in the meantime, oh, again, there's no detection. All right, there's the observer. We need the Oracle to come over here for some revelations. Oh, lurkers were caught attacking some rocks. And actually, 2 of them get caught before the fight even begins. Here's another observer. Beautiful storms. Is it going to be enough, though? Yeah, these last 3 storms say absolutely it is going to be enough. All of that from Impact gets pushed out, and Deer, with a way smaller supply, suddenly evens it up. In the meantime, some zealots doing a little bit of a run by. There's a lurker there. 3 drones go down. And here's that Oracle for the revelations. Oh my god, there's still 1 roach. He's got 2 kills. That was a bit overkill, I would say. 6 immortals shooting that half health roach, but what are you gonna do? Phoenix, like I said, will eventually take care of. Oh my god, he didn't realize this roach and hydra is still in the main. He's gonna pick it up. He's gonna go back in the corner and hope he forgets again. This Phoenix takes so long. And this Overlord just walks right by the Phoenix with 6 Lings inside. Alright, Deer retaking that 4th base, moving out once again. There's a lot of lurkers in this army this time, though. Most of them have been tagged. It's gonna make it a little bit harder for impact. That Storm, a little bit of a whiff. Doesn't quite hit how Deer would like it to have. And +3 missile attacks, getting very close to finishing here. But Immortals will make quick work of that hatchery. Lurker's not quite in place to save it. And that's a nice pickoff here for Deer. War Prism still going to be annoying down to the bottom side. Spine and a Spore here, but no Lurker anymore. I don't know if Deer really wants to push too hard into this. Just wants to try to do some damage to the side. So far the Lurkers have mainly hit the Zealots. And Deer is back mining on his 4th base. Dropping that 2nd Stargate and the Fleet Beacon. 3rd Stargate going down as well. Oh, Lurker drop. Observer, go back. Go, 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 go. No, no, no. This way. Impact being as annoying as possible with these drops. Deer standing on creep though. Is he paying attention? Oh, okay. Yes, he is. Oh, those storms. Oh my god. All right. A lot of those Hydras were very low but didn't die. That's actually incredible. 3 or 4 hit points here. Gonna turn a lot of the low ones into Lurkers. Do we have a hive? Do we have seismic spines? Yes, we do. Seismic spines and the Lurker Burrow upgrade. This army feels so bare bones. There's so little support right now, but some Stalkers do join up. And a ton more Storm energy. Oh, but the Lurkers go hit the 4th base. Be careful, Deer. It's Lurkers. Be careful. He storms the Lurkers, but his units were very, very clumped. Storm does not stack, unfortunately. These Lurkers are going to stand strong. In the meantime, this army is looking pretty light on Immortals. Some Hydras come over to support. And the 4th base goes down once again for Deer, who's just stuck on 3 bases. He's getting very low on mining right now, but he's getting those carriers out. First couple carriers come to fight the Hydras. There's not a ton of Hydras here. Here come the reinforcements. Oh, the Immortals have to be very careful. Impact gonna pull back for now. I apologize. I don't know where the production tab went. We've got 10 more Hydras on the way. Just gonna keep pumping out those Hydras, get to maxed, and likely push one more time. Especially as Deer doesn't have a ton of upgrades for these carriers. In fact, he has none, and none coming up. No +1 ship weapons or anything. Storm is gonna be Deer's saving grace here, but he is down almost 70 supply right now. In fact, 72 supply. Quick math. But as more carriers come out, his army is going to be very, very powerful. Carriers and Storm are a good combination. This is a lot of Hydras. 30 Hydras out right now. 6 more on the way to complete the army. And Deer's moving out on the map. What a crazy man. Mothership will protect because there's no detection here right now. Gonna take this base out once again. Here comes the big attack though. Storm going down on a lot of the Hydras, but nice splits here from Impact. And look at this arc All of the interceptors go down, and now the Hydras are pushing forward. One carrier goes down. A second carrier. Oh, is he going to get away because of Time Warp? That was the most effective Time Warp I've ever seen. This movement right now from Deer is actually incredible. I don't know if it's going to work at the end of the day. He's trying. He might be able to catch a few reinforcement Hydras over here. Zealots come in and actually get right on top of the Lurkers. Usually Zealots versus Lurkers is not the way. But that's because half of Impact's army is actually attacking the 4th base, which just came up. 22 probes have gone down. And the base goes down again. Deer cannot afford that. He's down 100 supply. And as good as his movement was there, as useful as that Time Warp was, literally the only useful Time Warp I've ever seen. I don't think it's going to matter. I think we're going to see one final fight here out of Deer. He's going to try to push in. But there's just too much Zerg here. There's too much impact. Tons of Hydras. There's still a few Lurkers left over. As long as he gets a nice, decent split and has some detection, be able to come in and crush this. Coming in from multiple angles. Just needs to dodge the storms for a little bit. Weather the storm. Carriers going down here. There's only 2 carriers left. They only have 2 interceptors between them. And that's it. The storm energy is gone. The mothership is gone. And that, my friends, is going to be GG. Impact's going to take game number 2. All right, Deer. Deer, man, I love you. I love you, Deer. This game is very over. There's the GG as the attack comes in. Impact ties it up 1-1. $47-ness with 100 bits. Thank you, my friend. I hope that 100 bits was for the useful Time Warp. I hope you're doing well out there, 47-ness. We're going to be heading into Zen for game number 3. Ah, yes, Zen. I assume we're the only... we're going to be one of the longer round of 16 matches. I'd imagine a lot of them are finished by now. There are a few that might still be going. There's a couple of TVTs, right? Those are probably still going. Ooh, and Rogue vs. Estrella. Not finished yet. I bet that series is real good. But let's hop into our series, where we are on the beautiful map Zen, spawning in the lower left corner. He just took that game after losing the first one. Is he learning? Is he adapting, as the Zerg are known to do? It is Team LP's Impact. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner. Carriers worked game number 1, but not so well game number 2. What will he go for on this map? A short rush distance map? Will we see another attempt at a glaive attack? Who knows? Only Team Newbies. Deer. Deer doesn't quite have the flair of a lot of other Protoss players. I feel like he's kind of one of those middling Protoss players. If you get the chart of like cheesing is on the left side and macro is on the right, Deer's like kind of central towards macro, right? But he doesn't quite have the finesse of a lot of the other players. I will say, though, he's been looking good in these last couple of games. It's really interesting to see him move out on the map with basically Storm Immortal. He had very few supporting units with those Immortals and High Templar, and yet Impact was kind of afraid to go in and attack. It's something we don't see a whole lot from other Protoss players. But, you know, to be honest, that army actually, just like the small army is like 6 Immortals, 6 or 7 High Templar, and like a couple of Zealots. It was a really difficult army for Impact to deal with what he had. We'll see what army composition he decides to go for this game. We have his 3rd hatchery coming up. Overlord again, scouting everything. We'll see the Adept popping out. Once he sees that, we'll be heading towards the main to visit the Stargate. I'd like to tell you guys a story. This is a story of a man who loves chicken, and in particular enjoys chicken McNuggets from McDonald's on a regular basis, and then starts working at a place that is across the street from McDonald's. And you may say to yourself, oh man, I bet he gets nuggets all the time. But I want to tell you the sad story of how this man who loves chicken goes to work and walks past McDonald's after it is closed, and then on the way home from work, it's open, but it's breakfast only. They're not selling nuggets. It's the sad story of my life. However, there's a happy ending to this story, because my girlfriend brought home 20 nuggets for me yesterday. I stayed up extra late. Even though I had to wake up for this, I stayed up extra late just to eat those 20 nuggets that she brought home for me. Isn't that a lovely story? It certainly felt lovely yesterday. Alright, let's focus on this game a little bit. It was not Phoenix first. The last 2 games have been Phoenix first. Instead, Deer went for the Stalker and only 1 Oracle. He's moving out with the 4 Adepts again. This is very similar to the last game, the last 2 games. But he's going for that glaive attack. And this one I feel like might be a little bit stronger than in game number 2. Glaive is not going to be finished for these 4 Adepts. They're just trying to put some pressure on. Ideally, if he doesn't lose any Adepts, these will later rejoin with the big group. Robo now coming down. So this is actually going to be very much the same as last game. Lings once again. Ooh, they don't get that Adept, but they will scout that it's a bunch of Adepts coming his way. Or drops his stasis forward, but Impact absolutely on top of it. Alright, let's see if we can see a bit of a split up here. As it's not Roaches this time, it's Banelings. These Adepts gotta be real careful. Drones are all pulled off the line, waiting for another shade. Oh, but here come the Banes. And the Lings trap all these Adepts, a lot of them going down. But a lot of them do escape as well. The Lings are chasing, but without the Banes, the Lings can't really fight this. In the meantime, a couple of probes have gone down. Looks like some Lings headed into the 3rd base here, but force fields and the units that were here took care of them. Deer's up at 61 workers, Impact's at 67, but only just now taking a 4th base. So the economy is very similar at the moment. 4 gateways going down here. Make a nice little wall. We've got Forge coming up for that +1. Charge coming out. This is looking very similar to the last game. Big difference here is that Impact's going for +1 melee. and Lingbane. Now, Mutas did not work out very well in game number 1, so he's going to go for Hydras, getting that Groove Spines up. I love this, targeting down the Banelings with the Oracle. Just grabs 3 quick Banelings. Phoenix will come in and won't actually see any of the tech because it stopped short of the tech. Oh, Dropper Lord's coming in though. One of them gets caught. This one has 3 Banelings in it, and it is not getting caught. Please pull the probes. Please pull the probes. No, dear, no. Oh, the probes get pulled at the last second. Overlord goes down. Banelings die and kill 1 probe. Nice hold there. Oh, but it's not Banes in the main, it's Lings. These Lings down to the 4th, run into the army. That is not ideal. 4 workers have gone down. No real Phoenix this game either, so this Overlord is safe for the time being. Gonna try to walk by and move down to the 3rd base. Is that the plan here? Meanwhile, Lingbane Hydra trying to move over, see if they can get something done. The Storm is not finished yet. It's only about halfway done. None of these Templar have energy for it anyways. Oh, and there are the Lings once again. Might be able to grab that Forge, actually. He's going to start +2. Oh, it's so close, but yeah, he's going to get the Forge. That's so annoying. Meanwhile, Impact posturing. Storm is so close to finishing, but the Banelings are going to get on top of the High Templar. Oh, no. Actually, they go straight for the sentries. A Stasis Ward stopping a lot of those Lings and Banes, but until Storm is finished. Oh, 1 Bane gets in. Now Bane's coming out, being unfrozen. There's no other army here. All the Templar going down. Templar storming himself. What a hero. Stalker's coming over to try to fight, but they don't have Blink. Chargelet's warping in. I think Deer will clean this up, but he lost all of his army. And Impact, meanwhile, is remaking a ton of this Ling Hydra. Deer needs to get some more Templar out here. He does. Warps in 6 more High Templar. And only 6 workers went down on that. Deer actually ahead in the worker count right now. It's 4 base to 5 technically, but this one's not really mining right now from Impact. Banelings being morphed. That's going to be really key here. It's going to be all about the Banelings. We have no more force fields. Big Storm's going down to zone this army away. There's a lot of Storm energy. Picking up some of those units in the War Prism. But all of these High Templar are getting absolutely crushed here. 30 probes have gone down now. The 4th base goes down. There's a little drop up here, kills 2 workers, and then we'll get completely cleaned up. And again, Deer's army reset. It looks like there was some form of a drop, probably a Baneling drop here. A lot of these probes actually not going back to working. Deer, please. Deer on 55 workers, and there's about 8 or 9 of them that just weren't working there for a little bit. Gonna try to retake this base, warping in more Templar, just trying to keep those storms coming, but consistently losing them is a big issue here. And he doesn't have anything against the Banelings except storms, and so far Impact has he's learned that he needs to not just run through the storms. Game number 1 he was taking some real big storm hits. Game number 2 as well. But look at these splits. That storm catches a couple morphing Banelings. Impact, he's looking primed to take game number 3 here and take the 2-1 to move on in the upper bracket. Deer had a nice game number 1. And game number 2 was very close for a long time. But Impact, he learned how he needed to play against Deer. He adapted. And in this game, Deer is going to hold on. He is not going to give up. He's going to keep warping in a few High Templar at a time. But Impact is not letting up. He wants to take this base out again. Oh, he's actually going to move up towards the top side. There's a lot of cannons here. There's 7, 8 mutas on the way too. Oh, Baneling's coming in to try to hit some probes. Doesn't quite work out for him. However, some Banes came in on this side and killed 16 probes, resetting Deer back down to 52 once again. I'm not too sure if the mutas are going to be the most useful thing, but he may be able to hit at the top side and just kill some workers and draw some fire. Deer does not have enough to defend multiple places at once, but he has a lot of Archons. Oh, he must have gotten wind of the mutas. He's going to ferry a couple Archons to the top side. There is a cannon here. Another cannon and a shield battery going down. And Deer, he's sticking in it, man. I was calling it over. I mean, he is 60 supply down. Muta's taking some pot shots here. Cannon's in the mineral line. Gonna help defend. Oh, and Deer moves away just as these Banes come in, but he sees them. Nice awareness there from Deer. Oh, but the rest of the army comes in now. Grabs this Archon. So far, nice trades here from Deer. A few workers going down in the meantime, but the way Deer throws out storms, he needs just like a million High Templar. And now some Phoenix come out. We'll be able to micro nicely against the mutas. Impact not quite wanting to commit. He is very low on money, so it's not like he's building a bank behind this. He's been constantly spending his money. Oh, here comes the big attack, though. Banelings get right on top of the High Templar. No more storms, and without storms, I don't see any way for Deer to handle this many Hydras. The Archons get cleaned up. Zealots run right into some Banelings. The Phoenix come over to help, but there's nothing left here. Looks like the Hydras will get... Yeah. I'm trying, Deer, but you're down 90 supply. This base going down once again. He's got 13 army supply right now, and a lot of it's just right here. That's going to be GG. And there, Impact finally able to seal the deal.